All right, I'm going to show you guys how to make a lovely little asparagus and ham tart. It's very simple. It's such a nice dish to have in the afternoon in summer, glass of bubbles. It's absolutely gorgeous and so simple. So the first process is we've got to make the filling for this tart. So we've got some brown onions here. They've just been finely sliced. I'm going to add those to the medium pan and just get a nice bit of colour on them, because if you don't cook all this stuff out before you put it into the tart, it might be raw because it's only in the oven for 15-20 minutes. So a little bit of olive oil to the pan. Again, I've got the pan hot. You add cold olive oil to the hot pan, not the other way around. You can see it's up to temperature already. So we've got our onions. I'm going to pop those in. Now at this point it's a really good idea to add a little bit of salt. So we've got some of the Murray River salt. Just going to add a little bit of that. What that does is help draw out the moisture out of the onions and you get a crisper result. So these onions have developed some amazing caramelisation now, and that equals flavour. So the next step, we're going to add the ham. Brown that off a little bit and we're ready to go. So that's the primo diced ham. Just going to pop that in. That's pretty good. Just going to mix that through. Want to get a little bit of colour, and it draws a little bit of the moisture out too. So a couple of minutes, get some colour on the ham and on to the next stage. Okay, well that's popping and bubbling away. That looks awesome. Got some nice colour on there. The onions have cooked through. We're ready to combine this with the cheese now. So I'm going to get myself a little bowl. I'm going to pop that mixture in. We're going to put half the parmesan in, and we'll save the rest of the parmesan for the top. So we'll turn that off. Pop that in. Now if there's any excess oil in there, you just need to drain that off. But this is actually quite nice and dry, which is what you're after. So that is looking pretty damn good. I've got some freshly grated parmesan here. We're going to add that to the onion and diced ham mix, so half that amount. And we are reserving the other half to sprinkle over the tart before we pop that in the oven. Just combine that. That cheese is going to melt all through that, that ham and onion. That looks gorgeous. So I've already seasoned it. The ham already has a little bit of salt to it, so you're going to need to be careful not to over season at this point in time. So we'll put that aside, move on to the next step. So the next stage in the recipe is preparing the asparagus. I've got some beautiful fresh asparagus here. I've gone for the thinner asparagus because, again, the tart only cooks for 15 or 20 minutes, so you don't want this asparagus too raw. So basically what I've done, I've taken the asparagus, just taken off the ends a little bit with a peeler, and this has been blanched and refreshed in some cold water to stop the cooking process, and it keeps it beautiful and green. So that's that prepped. Now we just need to assemble things. Okay, now it's the final stage, which is assembling the tart. I've got some fabulous puff pastry here. This is the only pastry you really should buy. I've got this from our local baker who's just amazing, but please go out and buy the best you can find, because it will make a difference to your final dish. Now what we need to do is cut a little border around the edge, or score a little border, and dock the middle. Now docking the middle means that the pastry won't rise as much in the middle, and we'll get a lovely puffed border around the edge. So it's quite simple. Take a small knife, and 2 to 3 centimetres from the edge, just run your knife around. Now you don't want to cut all the way through, you're just scoring this. So be gentle. And that will puff up and create your border. The next stage, we're going to use a fork, and we're just going to dock the middle. And as I said, it stops the pastry from puffing up in the middle. So just run that down. Okay, that's the pastry prepared. The next thing we need to do is start filling this baby up. So we have the mixture that we made before. Now this is the ham, the onion, and half of the grated parmesan. So we're just going to lay this down the middle, and make a little bed because we've got these gorgeous eggs we're going to put in between. So I'm going to run this down. That smells so good. That ham, the onion and the parmesan, it's just such a great combination. Put all that down the middle. Now I just use a fork, and what we're going to do is just spread this out a little bit. Just come up to the border that we've cut. Keep it nice and even. Don't get that too messy. Now what we're trying to do is create a few little wells in this this mixture so the egg can sit in there. So I push it out to the edge a little bit more, kind of create a little bit of a border. Keep it off the edges. At the back of the fork, just make a couple of little wells. Got 4 eggs there, so pop 4 little holes in there. And the egg will cook nice and slowly and it won't run out of the edge of the tart. So that's that done. Now our asparagus, and we want to lay this around. You can actually just break that up, make some nice little patterns. This also helps the egg running off the edge of the tart. So again, you can create little borders, make a nice pattern. Oh, it's so delicate. There we go. So we've got the 4 little wells there for the eggs. Now I find a really good trick with your eggs, rather than trying to crack it into the tart, crack the eggs into a little bowl. That way you've got more control when you're putting it inside. So again, let's make sure those wells are egg-proof. Let's take our egg. Again, nice little bowl. Mise en place is so important. Have all your ingredients ready. Just gonna put the final one in here. Okay, so now we've got to get those eggs in. So take the egg, slightly gently ease that in there. So that's hanging in there. So we're just going to keep doing that. So I'm just going to make sure we've got room. Again, egg, gently slide that into the filling. One more. The last one. This is a really good technique with pizza too. You can put the ham, the onion, the asparagus and the egg onto a pizza. It melts. It's absolutely gorgeous. So we're almost done. One last thing, we've got the rest of the parmesan. So we did put half the parmesan into the ham mix. Now the rest of that grated parmesan, just going to take that and sprinkle that over the top. You want to be nice and generous with this. Okay, we're done. One last step. Now we've got to make a little bit of an egg wash, and we're going to run that around the edge of the pastry, and that's going to make it beautiful and golden and brown. So what we have here is 1 egg. Just pop that into a little bowl. I always like to season my egg wash, so a little bit of the Murray River salt into there, and you don't need a fork, just a pastry bucket will do the trick. Beat that egg up. And we just run that around the edge. Also helps clean up the edge a little bit, which is handy. Okay, so that is the tart done. That's ready to go. It's been docked, the eggs are on, the ham, the onion, the cheese, and that beautiful asparagus. We're just going to need to pop that in the oven now, 180, 15 to 20 minutes until it's nice and golden, that pastry is puffed up. So let's get it in. Okay, so it's been 15 odd minutes. We're going to check out this baby, see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that is just beautiful, golden, nice and crunchy. The eggs are still slightly soft, which is nice. You don't want them set hard. So I think what we'll do is just slide this gently off onto a board. Not to burn myself. Now I'm just going to take that paper out from underneath. Make sure it's released. Yeah. Okay, there we go. That's done. That was so simple. The puff pastry is all golden. The eggs are still nice and soft. That primo diced ham is crunchy and gorgeous. The asparagus is beautiful. All it needs is a glass of bubbles. I'm pretty happy.